Hello car lovers driving the 2024 Acura TLX Type S. What to say about this vehicle? First, an overview. The Acura TLX is a compact sports luxury sedan. There have been slight aesthetic styling retouches. Every TLX gets a new 12.3-inch instrument cluster and a larger infotainment display and ELS Studio 3D premium audio. There is improved sound insulation. Front doors get acoustic glass, new front fender liners, wheel insulators, B-pillar and door insulators, and finally, thicker carpet and enhanced active sound cancellation. This is a critical aspect of luxury. If your car is loud on the inside, then what are you paying for? We have the Type S. It is a twin-scroll single turbocharger V6, though it is often referred to as a twin turbo. The Type S has huge front Brembo brakes, a V6 turbo of 355 horsepower and 354 pounds of torque, 20-inch wheels, 255/35 Pirelli P0 tires, sport-tuned 10-speed automatic with up to 70% of the power sent to the rear wheels. Acura constantly improves the super handling all-wheel drive. Fuel economy is 12.3 liters in the city, 9.4 liters on the highway. This vehicle goes for about $67,000. So we're back. I'm going to give you what I think is the best review of the Acura Type S that there is out there. And I know that's a pretty bold statement because there's a lot of exceptional reviewers out there. And anything I say I'm willing to back up, and that includes even the American reviewers, because this is just a category which I've always been in love with since I've been a kid, right? The sports sedan, the sports luxury sedan. So I have like I'm well tuned for this type of vehicle, and I will explain to you why. So here we go. I'm going to start with the Acura mission first, and that way we're going to slot how this car is within that mission and how it compares to its more expensive yet more quality competitors. I'm going to put BMW, let's say 3/4 series up there. In terms of price in Canada, this vehicle, equipped as it is less expensive than the equivalent German 4-cylinder turbo. All right? So that's kind of important to note. This vehicle goes for $66,000. All right? So that much is known. All right? And I'm pretty sure if I were to build the equivalent BMW, I would hit 70. So that's for the 4-cylinder turbo. So we're talking about a vehicle versus its competitors. I'm not talking about Genesis. I'm talking about Merc's German rivals, which for a 4-cylinder turbo German, you're getting a 6-cylinder turbo from Japan. All right? This vehicle is a fair trade vehicle. It's made in the USA. All right? So that much must be said. And let's break this down. Acura always tries to make vehicles, which is kind of like a semi-premium brand, let's be honest. And that's fine. I have absolutely no problem with that. What a good semi-premium brand does versus its more expensive competitors is it tries to deliver that more expensive experience in certain visible aspects of the vehicle, right? So, for example, the drivetrain, if it's a superior drivetrain, well, you're getting value, right? There's just no question. You're getting good value. If you are, it could be the driving experience. It could be the interior quality. It could be in terms of options. Let's break this down. In terms of exterior styling, this Acura is simply gorgeous. It hasn't aged a day. It's a supermodel. I mean, it's the goods. I think it's got these nice bulges here on the hood, which look really sporty. When you're driving, you get a sensation of sportiness just looking at it outside. When you're outside of the car and you're walking up to it, it looks good from every angle. The big wheels, the big brakes, it's a looker. There's just no question. It's a looker. And a beautiful one at that. I think it really competes favorably with the best of Germany on that level. And I'm going to stand by that. On the inside, well, let's talk about the mechanics here, how they feel. I find that the transmission, maybe not quite the programming of the ZF and the BMW, the read your mind, but it's very snappy, it's very good. It's certainly not a distraction. I'm very satisfied with it. The engine, very powerful. You can put it in sport mode and hear it a little bit more. It doesn't have maybe that sophisticated growl from the Germans, but it certainly sounds better than any of the 4 cylinders, that's for sure. So that is very good. You're getting in fact an incredible value on that level. On the inside, it's this interior, in the 2 years since I've tested this vehicle, has aged exponentially. I can't take this piano black anymore in the center console. This digital dash comes from a Honda Civic. This infotainment, while very big, is not bright at all. It should be a lot brighter in the sun, and that's what I have to say about that. This touchpad it's a goddamn mess, is what it is. It's horrible. It's a horrible user experience. Here, the materials here feel, yes, it's a little bit soft touch, but it feels a little cheap. And the rear seat is a joke. It's really more of a 2+2. I can barely sit behind myself. My head is scrubbing on the roof line in the back. There's not a lot of room in the trunk, and that's quite a bit. All right, this steering wheel is okay, but can anyone deny an M steering wheel is so much better? Key driver interface. So that's what I have to say about that. So let's pause, pin that to the back of your brain. Now I'm going to hit you with all the good stuff. Driving dynamics are wonderful. The suspension is a little bit hard in comfort mode in the effed up roads of Montreal. All right, Montreal is, like they say, the North Pole is the snow cone area. Well, here it's the construction cone area. There are construction cones everywhere here. I've been driving around now with Ross from quite some time. I think we have seen more road work than non-road work. All right, so that just gives you an idea of what we're dealing with. So what do you need? You need great driving aids, right? If you live in Montreal or the greater Montreal area, you need those driving aids, so that way, even when you're on the highway, you can do traffic, and it reduces the dullness of your daily routine. Speaking of daily routine, in comfort mode, this is I find, this is where this vehicle is so strong, and this is where Honda gets repeat buyers, or I should say Acura, is this Honda easiness. This steering interface, so easy without, it can be soft, but at one point in time it begins to feel flimsy. Honda never crosses that line, especially in the Acura brand. Feels really good. The gas, the pickup is just so perfectly done. The gear shifts occur logically. The braking feel is just so nice. And since the 2022 that I've done, they've worked a bit on the sound insulation. Here, I'll give you guys an example. Wow, that's a nice acceleration. I'm doing now 100 something, and a relatively quiet experience. I'm speaking to Ross. We were speaking before. We weren't raising our voice. They've really improved on that, I think, from the last version. It seems from what I remember. So very good Acura for this. So now we've reached acceptable luxury levels in the premium level, right? So here we are driving this vehicle on the highway. I'm going to put the driving aids, one click, and it's taking care of business. Look, it's doing it all by itself. Very easy to use. Well, I think that the interface for the climate control, although sometimes it's a bit of a stretch, the buttons make it easy enough to use. You have the ELS sound system, which they've improved over the years, and it plays really well. You do get a nice little sunroof, even though it's not a big one. You get a superior performance to the category. You get these comfortable seats, which are I would say, I've driven the BMW of recent, and it seems to me that I think I'm going to give the edge now, maybe a little bit to BMW. Boy, those seats were amazing, and they had like this Sensotech material, which is not real leather, but it feels really good, and it feels really quality. It was like a red, but it was, I don't know, somehow it looked a little bit better than this, and it felt a little bit better. But this still feels great, so that's what I have to say about that. So here we are. We've covered all the elements. Also, this car is heavy, but then again, so are all its rivals. It drinks a bit more gas than its rivals. There is no hybrid option. There is no mild hybrid. In this jurisdiction, especially in Quebec, gas prices are so high, and just knocking off 3 liters per 100 kilometers on the city routine would be so helpful, because we are effectively now always in a city driving regime, even on the highway. So that would be useful. But apart from that, so now you're equipped, I think, to make a decision. Of course, the reliability is much better than the Germans, so you can actually buy this vehicle, right? My Acura TLX, even though I changed cars, I bought a new car, I still kept my Acura TLX 2017, no problems. There are no problems. It's a wonderful vehicle. I drove it the other day and I just remembered how great it was. So this is what it is. I feel you're being, and this is the first time I say this from an Acura, I'm feeling the interior needs to be increased in terms of quality for the $66,000 or $67,000 that this vehicle costs. Because it's feeling like, I don't know, it just aged. I don't know what happened. It just aged a lot. I still think it's an incredible bargain though for the performance you get. I still think it's an incredible bargain in terms of the mechanics. I think it's an incredible bargain in terms of just the standard features. And you have to make that choice, right? Do you want the slick interior of the Germans for a little bit more, but you're going to be sacrificing on engine, especially on the engine? You want that performance, right? Like the German car will not do this. The German car will not do this, right? The 4-cylinder turbo, I don't care how well tuned it is. I don't care how many horsepower it has. This is a really awesome acceleration / driving experience / sound versus the 4-cylinder turbo. And on the lease, it would be, I'm not sure I would get this vehicle. On the purchase, I would. And I don't know, it's the type of thing which would bobble in my head, and I'm sure you as a shopper, I don't think it will be evident to make that choice. Does the fact that I'm a Honda fanboy impact it? Well, I'm also a German fanboy. I love German cars. So it really is based on what I want. I think right now at 48 years old, I'm gonna be 49 in like 2 days. I think what I want is a bit more class, and I probably would go for the BMW, I think. But on the purchase, I would definitely get this car, or I would simply get the TLX A-Spec. And those are my thoughts on the Acura TLX Type S 2024. By the way, if you like this video, like it. If you don't like it, don't like it. And if you really like it, well, then of course you should subscribe. And if you feel a little bit differently, I'm really curious to see about other fans of the luxury sport compact class. Am I on point? Do you feel differently? Do you have other favorites? For me, if I were shopping, my top 2 would be this and probably BMW. What would you shop? I'm curious to see what you would buy, and that is the review.